perhaps I should excuse myself and leave your studio.
Hello, great people. If you think the immediate past president, Muhammadu Buhari, is a bad guy, if you think he's a failure, well, watch out for Bola Tinubu, as Tinubu and his boys are fast breaking the negative records of Muhammadu Buhari. In a moment, I'll play you a video of what to expect as 2027 approaches, where Nigerians will want to be holding Bola Tinubu and his boys accountable as regards their stewardship in governance to the Nigerian people. In a moment, I'll play you a video of what transpired on Channels TV, the conduct of the APC National Secretary when he gagged Seun Okinbaloye, when he was even threatening that he's going to leave the studio. Now, before I play you the video, let me put some background to it so that you can understand what I'm saying now. The APC National Secretary, Ajibola Bashir, appeared on Channels TV as regards the defection of the Delta State governor and some other governors that are planning to defect to the ruling All Progressive Congress. Now, when the conversation about power grabbing, when it was going on, the APC National Secretary was happy, he felt relaxed, the atmosphere was okay, but all of a sudden, Seun Okinbaloye switched from power grabbing to accountability as regards the stewardship of Bola Tinubu in government. Before you know it, all of a sudden, the countenance and the mode of response and the temperature in the studio, everything changed, so much so that the APC National Secretary kind of like threatened to leave the studio. Now, you may want to ask yourself that why is it that APC is low on accountability and high on power grabbing? We'll be discussing all this and a whole lot more on this episode with your show blog, Dr. Omosholadiji. First, let us go and watch the video of what transpired in the studio with Seun Okinbaloye. Then we come back for some great discussion. Let's watch it.
Dealing with problem of development is never a straightforward thing. It's never a straightjacket thing. It's a process that has to come both with pains, both with gains. But what we are saying is that at the political level, our party is making gains because we are appealing
because of the pains. The pains. The unintentional or the uninformed decision and policy that your party has made that have thrown Nigeria into this kind of horror.
That is your own view, and which
you made policies that caused food inflation. You made policies
I've told you
that tumbled the Nigerian economy and caused Nigerians shame. These are the decisions of the party in power.
I expected you when Mr. Dele Momodu was speaking. You gave him opportunity to say what he wants to say.
You're speaking, Senator.
So if you don't want me to say, perhaps I should excuse myself and leave your studio.
Senator,
I'm making some analysis. Whether you agree with it or not, that is my own viewpoint. Whatever you say, that may be your own viewpoint. But if you want to also be the questioner and the person that will answer the question, perhaps I may excuse myself from this place.
If I'm asking you a question, Senator, and as someone who is in power, you are the party in government, and if you are not delivering to the Nigerian people, it might be as uncomfortable as it may be right now, and the room might be hotter than you feel naturally.
I'm comfortable. Let me talk.
The question, I'm allowing you to talk, but you're not answering the question. Whether or not you have performed to the expectation of the Nigerian people.
Possibly you may excuse me for
Senator,
a program if you don't want me to talk.
Have you?
There you have it. You just watch the video of what happened between Seun Okinbaloye and the APC National Secretary Ajibola Bashir. Now, just as it is happening as regards the operation of Bola Tinubu and his government and his party, whereby anything that comes to power, they are always active, they are always happy. But when it comes to accountability or fulfilling the renewed hope that they promised Nigerians, then you will see that, their countenance will change. You will recall that this was prominent during the Buhari administration, and we had people that were kind of like the front runner in that regard. Somebody like Festus Keyamo. Some of you will recall that, close to the election of Muhammadu Buhari at that time, people like Festus Keyamo were being accused for gagging the media. They won't allow you to talk. They won't allow you to kind of like ask questions. They will try to kind of like intimidate you, suppress your voice, rather than for them to allow you to ask questions and for them to give a logical response. Now, these are some of the things that you should expect, because if it is not an electioneering period at this point in time, and you will not allow the moderator to moderate his program, so much so that you will be threatening to leave the studio, then that leaves much to be desired on the conduct of the national chairman of the APC. I know, as somebody that has appeared on different TV stations, I know that sometimes the media can act overboard in the sense that you may be trying to make an important point, then they interject you. But then again, it is part of accountability, whereby they are trying to kind of like fact check or cross check or kind of like probe further some of the assertions that you are making, some of the points that you are making. So even if Seun Okinbaloye is guilty, assuming but not conceding, you don't have to threaten to leave the studio. So for an APC National Secretary to be threatening to leave the studio when the election has not even approached at all, that shows what you should be expecting in 2027. So everything, when it comes to conversation about power and defection, definitely everything will be going on fine. The APC will always be rejoicing. They will be saying this, that. But then, if you ask them, what is convincing people to defect to the APC? What is the performance of the APC? Now, you have a good relationship with the political elite, because definitely APC is attractive as the ruling party, and Bola Tinubu, being a political striker, he has been trying to woo the political stalwart, whether because some of them, as I said in my immediate past video, that some of them because they are sinners, some of them because they want to align with the cookie jar. Definitely you've been wooing them. But then, how about the Nigerian masses, the have-not, the ones that government truly exists for? Then what is your relationship with them? How have you made life convenient for them? The APC members will always go up in flames, as we witnessed in that video, whereby everything was going on fine when Seun was discussing about power, defection, and all that, until Seun switched to accountability. And one thing that I've observed is that if you look at the All Progressive Congress, APC is obsessed with power grabbing, but low on accountability. If you look at it, the way, the effort, the manner that Bola Tinubu has been putting on wooing, the political stalwart to his side, if he devotes half of that energy into kind of like making life better for Nigerians, definitely, Nigerians do not need anybody to campaign for them about Bola Tinubu in 2027 before kind of like voting for him. And what Bola Tinubu is doing is a tactics towards 2027. What Tinubu is doing, if I can explain it in a simple term that you can understand, the Bola Tinubu and APC, what they are doing is that, for instance, you want to go on a race from Lagos to Ibadan. As I said on one platform today, that you want to go on a race from Lagos to Ibadan, and you know that your gear is not functioning well, your vehicle is in a bad state, you can only operate on gear 1 from between gear 1 and gear 2. Some of you that drive, you know what I'm saying. But then again, your opponent, you decide that you must win the race from Lagos to Ibadan, so you decide to knock the engine of your opponent before they break. So your opponent will just be on a standstill, while you, with your gear 1 and gear 2, no matter how bad your vehicle is, you will reach Ibadan before your opponent. That's what Bola Tinubu is doing, and that is some of the kind of like that politics that we talk about, in the sense that politics exists for the people, government exists for the people. In a democracy, as a government, you are supposed to kind of like work just so that you will convince the people will then troop out en masse to vote for you. But Bola Tinubu understands that there is no independent candidacy in Nigeria. Everybody has to align under a political party. So what Bola Tinubu is doing is to be putting fire in those political parties. So therefore, at the end of the day, when 2027 comes, no matter how bad, no matter how terrible, no matter how abysmal his performance is, definitely, since the political parties are bad, since he has emptied the political parties, he will just have a straight win. So at the end of the day, you may have what we can call a kind of like indirect one candidate in 2027, because if there's crisis in APC, if there's crisis in PDP, if there's crisis in the Labour Party, and nothing is functioning, and the political stalwart have moved to the All Progressive Congress, no matter how bad Bola Tinubu perform, he will be the one to appoint the INEC chairman. The police is on his side. We'll just have a straight win in 2027. So expect more of this gagging of the media in 2027. So this is a signal of what to expect from the APC and Bola Tinubu-led government as 2027 approaches. And if you look at it well, the APC fails to realize that politics is about the people, right? And when they are talking about the people, they are talking about the majority of the people. So a TV program called you to come and account for your stewardship. When they were talking about power grabbing, defection, you were happy, you are feeling fly. But when they switch to accountability, which is about the majority of the, because all these politicians, all of them, they are not, maybe they are just 1% or 2% of the population. Now, the real majority that government exists for, they are asking you questions about the performance of your government. You are getting angry. You fail to realize that politics is about the people. Politics is about, providing dividends of democracy for the people. So the APC better realize this. And also, when it comes to power grabbing, the way APC is going, you may eventually grab the power, you may gag the media, but one thing is, at the end of the day, you will use your maximum time, whether as a national secretary, whether as a president, which will be 8 years in office, but then again, you will have no good place in history. As it is now, Bola Tinubu is apparently coasting home to victory with all what is happening in 2027. But then again, at the end of the day, even if you lose to 2031, the place in history would not be good, because then this kind of like power-centric nature would have run into his head. And don't forget that they say absolute power corrupts absolutely. And at the end of the day, this will affect his performance, and this will eventually affect his place in history. You can name all the buildings in Nigeria after Bola Tinubu, but then his place in the heart of the Nigerian people, he will not have a good place in their heart at the end of the day. And we've had leaders in that regard as well. The different kind of leaders, ranging from the military head of state. So what I can say is, the APC, as much as they are winning political stalwarts to their side, they should also be big on accountability, because government is about accountability, not to the political elite, but to the masses that government exists for, and also to create dividends of democracy for. It's been an interesting time with you on this episode of Politics with Dr. Omosoladeji. Subscribe, turn on your notification button, catch up with my past videos. See you in my next video. I love you all sincerely.